All right, everybody, welcome to the annual meeting of members. I'm going to turn this over to Linda Knowles, our beloved president.
Okay, I'm just going to hold it. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh. Okay. Okay. Welcome to everybody. Yeah, great. All right. Who left this? It's got cactus and it's from Boquillas. One of you left this at a field trip. All right. I get to keep it if nobody takes it. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Slide. All right. All right. Tag your photos. Did you take pictures? If you took pictures, put them on your social media or your friend's social media or someone you know who uses it. Yeah. And anyway, you can take a picture of that. And anyway, but let people know about this. And I know I took some pictures that are really nice and I'm going to post them somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, okay, you can change the slide. Our mission. Anyway, this is this is our mission statement. And thanks to all of you for being members and believing in our mission statement and helping us. Oh, thanks for helping us fulfill our mission. Yeah. Okay, slide. Yeah. All right. And thank you to our sponsors. And thanks to Kirsty for joining us here and bringing your display. It's great. And thanks to all of you. And I hope a lot of you can go to the Chihuahuan Desert Nature Center. Yeah. Okay. Slide. Yeah. Okay. More sponsors. Yeah. All right. Okay. Slide. All right. More sponsors. Wow. Aren't we great all together? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Bill Hopkins could, apparently they're having a.
Okay, next slide.
Linda, can I talk for just a second?
Right.
We're having some technical difficulties where the Zoom people are seeing two screens and the sound is lagging.
Oh, no.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've been told it's okay.
It's better? Okay, great. All right, let's see. Volunteers and vendors. Yeah, and thanks to everybody. And I know I've enjoyed what I've been eating and drinking, so I think that's great. And I hope you all are able to join us at a Thursday night because that was really nice too. Okay, new slide. Oh, here we go. Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah,
So I'm Kim Conrow. I was the pandemic president, and I didn't get a chance last year to officially hand and pass over the gavel of presidency to Linda. So Linda, the gavel for the society is now yours.
Yeah. All right. And I personally can't believe it's been a whole year. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next slide. All right. Here we are. Minutes. Is that
Pam will do this
on Zoom?
Pam needs to come in. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Can I
Go ahead.
Okay. So Pam Lienhard should be speaking to us now. Pam, you need to unmute yourself and turn your video on and speak to at least the Zoom people. Will see Pam. Pam, can we hear?
Right. Well, here I am. I just want to say I'm honored. I have been honored to serve as your VP administration for the past 2+ years. And anyway, I know we're running late, but here are the minutes from last time. Everyone remembers what went on last time. And so are there any, do we vote on this?
Do we vote on this? Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, all in favor?
Do we have a motion to? Is that?
She needs to, I guess, a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 2021.
Who is that, Kim?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Yes, Saucier, Gary Saucier.
Okay, Gary Saucier.
Gary Saucier, okay. All right, any
Okay.
additions or corrections or? All
No.
right. Now
Okay,
we're
all
ready to
in
vote.
favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Linda's going to pass this over to me because we have to go through these slides really fast. So everyone, there may be people that are new to our society, and here's our governance model. We have an executive board of elected officers. We have 9 elected officers, 3 presidents, and 6 vice presidents. And we have chapter representatives, and that's normally the chapter president that comes to the state board meeting. And so we have a very large, those 2 groups of people, it together make up the state board of directors for our society. And then we have standing committees, ad hoc committees, et cetera. And next slide. Our state board meets quarterly on Zoom. Any member can attend, and our Zoom meetings can accommodate up to 300 people. We also now with our new Neon have the ability to easily send out, we didn't have this in the past, easily send out things to all members, and we sent out an invitation to all members to our quarterly meeting, and we had started with 60 members, including the normal 25 state board members that came. And at the end of the meeting, 4 hours later, we still had 43 members. So that was pretty good. Okay, next slide. Y'all can all come and see what happens. You should come and see what happens at our meetings. We have over 30 chapters. I think we're 34 right now across the state. You can see that we have 2 ecoregions that don't have any representation. So if you know people in those areas, we need some chapters in every ecoregion in our state. There we go. And here are, we want to show you then, this is the list of chapters we have alphabetically and the presidents. I want to say thank you to all the presidents. They work very hard. They are part of the state board of directors, as I said earlier. And yay for all the chapter presidents that work very, very hard to keep our chapters together. And you will get this as a PDF so you can study it later. Okay. Thank you so much to the service for Kimber Koshik and Pam Lienhard, who have served each, well, Pam, I think, served 3.5 years, and Kimber served 4 years in these prospective positions. And they were both very influential and made good things happen for our society, and we'll miss them. But we're continuing on. That's okay. Next slide will be fine. And we're continuing on. You can see we have 3 presidents always. And then those are the 4 of the 6 vice presidents. We overlap. That's part of our governance model, is we overlap the vice presidents and we overlap the president so that we will never have a lack of institutional knowledge on the executive board. And incoming, well, Clarence really is continuing, but we have 2 new incoming members, and that's Amy Birdwell for VP Education, and Ann, and here she is to say a few words, including her last name.
Thanks. My name is Ann. Yeah, Kimovitz. Very good. I heard all kinds of people say that. I am really excited to take on this position. I think Pam has done a tremendous job and has lots of processes in place. So I'm looking forward to continuing that. And hopefully I can do as good a job as she did.
Oh, I'm sure you will. All right, next slide, please. We're very happy to have these 2 members on our board. Welcome. Okay, our executive director, Meg, is going to talk now through, I think, the next 3 slides. Oh, you had your time.
I have my own microphone. Thank you. I just want to say that this is a slide to tell you the types of things that we've been doing or the types of things that I've been doing over the last 9 months or so. I know you're all sitting there thinking, what the heck is she doing? And so I want to justify myself, okay? We have some new hires. We basically hired Renata Lucia for the for administrative assistant position, and we hired Linda Foss for the NLCP coordinator position, and we're getting they're both, I mean, pretty trained up. They took the reins and grabbed them, and they're out running. And so I also want to point out the 3 FTE means 3 full-time equivalents. So I don't want you to think that we have 5 employees. We really don't. I'm the only full-time employee. We have 4 part-time employees. So and I'll show them to you in just a minute, the rest of them. We've been working on systems, reporting, the NEON has been a special challenge, setting up a new website, and et cetera. We have a new thing called chapter leader forums. Hopefully some of you have participated in those. We have their monthly meeting to try to bring the chapters together and discuss and learn and trade ideas and that sort of thing. I think that's going pretty well. It's a 3rd Thursday of the month at noon. The Fall Symposium, I've worked very hard on, have a great committee who did most of the work, but it took a lot of my time too. And then just the administrative stuff. Next slide, please, Sarah. And as I promised, here's our fantastic 4. We've got Craig Coulter, membership coordinator, Linda Foss, NLCP coordinator, Sarah Torres, our accountant, and Renata Lucia. It's either Lucia or Lucia. And honestly, Renata, you're going to have to tell me when I get home which pronunciation is better. They're doing a great job. Next slide, please. Yeah. Give them a hand. I've received compliments on them daily, so I'm very proud of them. And you have the strategic plan on your tables there. And I just want to point out that we are growing stronger, and we're growing stronger together. As we work together as chapters, we're just basically one large organization with a lot of people coordinated through chapters. We're seeing membership growth. Some of the things, actually, if you take a look at that strategic plan, Kim and I sat down and looked at it the other day. We could mark everything on that strategic plan that we are doing something about. So I think we're making really good progress on our strategic plan. And these are just some examples of we're growing our membership. We have our our new state chair for the NICE program. NLCP has grown by 1 level. We're finally got all 4 levels going, and we're getting out to our students that way. We have a new invasives committee that's doing gangbusters. Speakers Bureau, also wonderful. If you want to be on the Speakers Bureau, please let us know. It's at npsot.org. You can go to the Speakers Bureau page and look at the slate of speakers that we have, and we make that available to the public because we always get calls about speakers. Kim and Pam put together the chapter leader handbook and onboarding. And of course, I think we're going to do have a more robust program for Native Plant Week this year. And of course, we have Clarence Hurd, who's always doing advocacy. Next slide, please. I think I'm off now. No, I'm not. We've been in the news, man. Look at all these things that we've done. Yay. This is what we need. We need to be in the news all the time. We've been on podcasts. We've had articles written. We even had, the News Hour. Yes.
Oh, yeah, PBS NewsHour.
The PBS NewsHour contacted us, and we actually got interviewed for that. Not the actual program itself, but their online digital.
It's a reading article.
It was wonderful, though. We had a good time doing it. And so we just need to get ourselves out in the news. And the other thing that I've been reminded of this weekend is that we need to get younger people as well. And so I mean, I think we're all in agreement on that. A young person just raised his hand in the back. Yay. And you know what? I was talking to him yesterday and I said, gosh, how can we do better on this? And of course, one thing is get better at technology, but also he pointed out to me that they're rare. So basically it's not all our fault, guys. It's just hard to find these people out there, but he's going to help us person by person. We're going to get a lot of younger people in this group and keep it going. Here's some more in the news. Oh my gosh, Michael Eason and Adam Black with the oak tree. It's just been amazing. All right.
Meg, this was international news.
Oh,
When you-
sorry.
When you
Oh.
Googled this and went through all the different Googles, it was at least 7 different languages I counted. So everybody, please give Michael and the Oak people a big hand because they did a wonderful job finding a rare plant and then, and getting it in the news. Okay, thank you so much. Sarah, next slide.
You're next.
And I think Meade is next. Here you go, Meade.
Would you rather have this?
Am I holding it right side up? I think it's okay. Hi, I'm Meade LeBlanc. I'm the VP Finance. I'm also the chapter president of the Clear Lake chapter. And I'm going to give you a brief financial update on the health of the society. The first slide shows you the cash balances at the end of August. And before I go on, I do want to acknowledge Sarah, our accountant, who's also changing slides. She's multi-talented, but we rely on her to keep up with all the accounting for not only the state level, but all the chapters. So the first slide shows what the cash balance is. The thing I want to point out here is on the right-hand side, the biggest amount of cash is at the chapter bank accounts. So all the chapters have a tremendous opportunity to redeploy those funds back in your community because you've got that cash. On the other side, I want to point out the balances that we have is almost, about almost $245,000 earmarked for scholarships and grants. And that's been to huge efforts by the current board to increase the donations that we receive on scholarships and grants. Next slide. This slide shows the components of revenue. And the blue slide, you will see sales income, again, plant sales. The biggest slice of our pie for income comes from the chapters in terms of the funds that are raised from the plant sales. So kudos to all the chapters and their excellent efforts, and not only raising money, but getting all those plants out there in people's backyards. It's really tremendous. On the right-hand side, you see the green slide. The green slice is the donations. That's what I spoke about on the cash balance. So tremendous amount of funds came into the society this year from donations that are earmarked mostly for scholarships and grants. And then the yellow slide, the bottom right, is membership income. So as you would expect, that's a big component of income. And the register, back one, just because Linda's here, the brown one on the top left, the registration, that is NLCP income. So again, educating the public on native landscape classes has been a big component. Okay, next slide. This one has a lot of little pie slices. So I'm going to pause a second. And then I'm going to just point out a couple of the large ones. The blue one, the dark blue one, it says other expenses, but that's mostly related to the plant sales. So the biggest component of spending, just like the biggest component of income, is related to plant sales. A lot of the chapters purchase plants and plant materials for those sales. The second largest one on the right-hand side, the yellow, is the payroll. And that goes back to what Meg is saying, to fund a growing organization has been an investment in additional staffing. And those are the key takeaways. So if you can remember like 2 or 3, that's plenty. I don't expect you to memorize all the other slices. Thank you.
Sarah. All right, here's our membership broken out, both on the left side in households, total number of people in a household, and notice it's climbing. On the right-hand side, this is a individual actual members chart, and since 2020, that information's been able to be separated out, and we can't go back before that because of the software change that we're using now, but now we can do that. So what do we have? 3,659 members in Texas. So we grew quite a bit during COVID. Okay. Here's the individual membership making up about 37%. The senior, student, and limited income is fast catching. Aren't we getting a little gray? 34%. Family membership, 21. Patron, 4%. The patron, benefactor, supporting, those are smaller amounts, but those are people that want to give additional amounts over their regular membership. You can find that information on our website. Lifetime members, 111 lifetime members in the society. Okay. And like Meg mentioned, this little area right up here is quite barren. And there's certainly some towns big enough to support chapters. So if you know people in those areas, we need to work on that. Okay. Here's the list of patrons. No, it's probably too small for those in the live audience to see. Quite a few. Okay. The benefactors on the left, supporting members on the right, Carol Abbott, our founder, in the middle. Okay. Lifetime members. Okay. And but let's see, who's Pam? Pam, if you're on, please continue.
It's me again. Yes, I just want to say it's impossible to recognize all the work that our members do for the society to promote our mission. It's a bit easier to recognize how long they've been doing that, and that's what these pins are supposed to represent, that we recognize how long you've been working. Now, they were introduced under two very difficult situations, and one was COVID-19, when very few chapters were actually having live meetings. We hope you're having live meetings again and that you have received your pins. They are out there. They've been sent to the chapters. The second difficult situation was the changeover in our database software. I think we've ironed out all the kinks now. If there were any mistakes, let me know and I'll still get them out to you. But next year should be very, very smooth. All caught up, everything good. Turning to next year, we realize that there have been members working for more than 25 years. So next year, change the slide, we're introducing a 30-year pin to recognize those people that have been working, fulfilling the mission for much longer. So we hope everyone will plan on sticking around for 30 years or more, and maybe we can offer an even larger pin, greater pin next time. But anyway, thank you so much for your work.
Okay, one more thing on the committees. You've got a list back there on the table where the tour maps were located yesterday. All of these committees need people to work on them. And if you would like to work, sign up. If you're at home and you think you'd like to sign up, so.
You would please email Renata at admin, ADMIN assist at nipsot.org. Please do that. It just makes it so much more fun to have new faces on these committees.
Okay, so I'm going to just run through just a few of the committees. Obviously not all of them because we have 19 of them and we just want to highlight a few. The audit committee is really important. Betsy Ferris, Jan Hans, and Walt Henderson are members on that. We're accountable. We review our finances. Okay, Sarah's very good at that. And we have the Bring Back the Monarchs to Texas committee. They do a lot of work, really heavy in the spring, choosing who are going to be the new recipients of these grants. And next slide, because Carol Clark is going to speak. Can you hit the play button to us? There's a play button. This should play. This should play, Sarah. There we go at the bottom. Oh, it's not playing. Erin, help.
Hi, I'm Carol Clark. It was my pleasure to chair the Bring Back the Monarchs to Texas committee again this year and to work with the outstanding group of dedicated volunteers on the committee. The majority of our work this year was focused on the Garden Grant Program and on monarch and native plant. We applied for and received a $10,000 two-year grant from Monarch Joint Venture to support both our Garden Grant Program and the I-35 way stations in Hill and Bell counties. Because of that grant and the generous donations received from individuals and NIPSOT chapters, we were able to award 53 garden grants in 2022. The grant process was highly competitive. We received a whopping 94 grant applications for the last grant cycle, indicating that people are becoming aware of the grant program. Our grant graders read each application in detail to settle on a group of proposals that we felt had the best chances of creating useful monarch habitat using native plants in an appealing way in a space with public access. Grants received additional points if there was a strong educational component included. Grants recipients in 2022 included schools, libraries, museums, parks, and more. The next grant cycle should open for applications in November, and we hope to award as many or more grants in 2023 than we did in 2022. So we need your help to identify and encourage partners in your community to apply. Ideally, we'd like to fund qualified grant proposals all across the big state of Texas, but there are some regions with few applicants. We want all our funded gardens to succeed, so application advice from local NPSOT members is not only allowed, but encouraged. There were other activities in 2022. Some of our committee members cooperated with the National Wildlife Federation's Monarch Steward Certification Program to provide training segments. Another committee member worked with the National Wildlife Federation on their Monarch Heroes program, providing school gardens. Others did talks in their communities and across the state. If you'd like to book a program for your local chapter about monarchs and the Texas native plants they depend on, contact us at bbmt@npsot.org. If you'd like to receive personal training on how to give talks about monarchs and the plants they need in your area, or if you'd like to serve on our committee, please contact us at bbmt@npsot.org.
Wow, that was great, Carol. Thank you. All right, next slide, please.
Hi,
that great?
I'm Carol Clark.
You do a lot of great
It
work.
was my pleasure to chair the Bring Back the Monarchs to Texas Committee again
slide.
this year and to work with the outstanding.
She's talking to us again. It's not moving. Here comes Aaron. Okay, Stephanie Long is well into her second year of VP Communications, and she's working very hard to push out more social media. She also oversees the newsletter publication with Susan Austin, the editor, and oversees the website and facilitates the societies and chapters website. And as you know, that whole thing is being redeveloped and just modernized. And so anyway, that's a lot of work. So thank you very much, Stephanie, for doing all that. Next, please. And she has redesigned, not actually redesigned, but gone back to an older design and updated it for our logo. And it comes in many silhouettes and color schemes, and it has lots of versions that can go on to different kinds of swag for your chapters. Okay, next, please. And a big shout out to Susan Austin, our editor for our newsletter. Doesn't she do a great job? Wonderful, Susan. Next, please. And the Native Landscape Certification Program. Bill's actually here. I don't know if he wants to say like 10 seconds of words. Do you want to, Bill, or shall we just move along? Okay, we'll just go ahead. All right, they work very hard, as you've heard before. They put on a lot of classes, and I don't have the data right now on all the classes that they put out, but they're across the state. And if your chapter needs help with that, Linda Foss. Linda, raise your hand. Linda Foss is stand up, Linda, let everybody see you. There she is, the NLCP coordinator. So thank you, Linda. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, just to reiterate how important this is, an educational opportunity for our chapters to teach about their ecoregions. Next slide, please. Oh, and you can continuing education units. And y'all all know our standard level 4s, introduction, landscape design, installation, maintenance, stewardship, and plant communities. And then the companion class, you know what, for birds. Okay, next slide. We have an invasive plant committee that's going strong. We are working on a web page. Dee Dee Wright is the chair. Dee Dee, can you stand and let everybody see you, please? There's Dee Dee. And there's also a poster over there in the poster area that's two-sided. We have two-sided posters over there. So be sure you get a read on all those. We did that's great. Moving on. I-35 way stations. These people work very, very hard at 4 way stations that are visited by millions of people every year. And you got a coloring book in your packet, and these will be given out during Native Plant Week at an event table that's happening at these way stations. So if you are in North Central Texas, please contact somebody at the state office. And I didn't really think this out, I'm sorry. But you know how to contact the state office and say, I'd like to help work at the way stations. So, because especially in Hill County, we need a lot of help there. Bell County seems to be going really strong, and there's Ilsa with part of her crew. And look, yay, Ilsa. And then and the signs are really popular. The public takes pictures of them all the time. Is that nice? Oh, and they're the shirts. So if you're a regular volunteer, you get to have a shirt, a t-shirt. I wore one to the thing Thursday night, and Ilsa wore one. Has monarchs on the back. It's beautiful. And then Kay Jenkins says, then the public won't confuse you with people doing community service hours. Next, please. Claire Sorensen has stepped up to be the leader of our NICE program. So we're trying to move forward and develop that. And this is going to be very important in working with nurseries and growers and trying to just expand our reach in the state. Texas Native Plant Week. This is a committee, and you can serve on it. And you can serve on it in your chapter or serve it on the state level. And one thing we do statewide is the MPSOT BioBits Challenge. We do it in conjunction with our partners at Texas Parks and Wildlife. And it's just automatic. When you take pictures of native plants during that week, they automatically go into this challenge. We have a Speakers Bureau. Vicki Blockman is the chair. Meg was talking about how important it is to engage speakers, and we're hoping that all our chapters are doing Zoom now and doing not exclusively though, but hybrid meetings are really, just as today, we have almost as many people at home as we have in this room at this meeting. So isn't that incredible? So yeah, 124 people at home. So if you want a speaker, or if you want to be a speaker, you can go to this Speakers Bureau page on our website and find out about speakers for your chapters. Next. Here's a symposium committee that put this on. We worked really hard to make this happen. 1 minute. Okay. Next, please. I'm getting the 1 minute signal. I don't know if we can do this. Let's go. Scholarship? I know, so many. Next, please. We thank you so much to the Kirks for now this is supplied, I think it's like $200,000. Of course, that's money only for scholarships, right? Okay, we're very appreciative of that. And this is Clara Dorman is the recipient of that this year. She's not getting $200,000, y'all. $2,500. Okay, next. And the grant program is the Ann Miller Gonzalez grant program. You know, our silent auction over here helps to fund both the grants and scholarships. So those funds will go into those programs. And this year, Sarah Ortiz is the, well, she was a benefactor, sorry, last year. And for the, is she here?
Sarah Ortiz is received a grant in 2021, and she did some work, and she's with us via Zoom to talk to us about it. And hopefully Bill's got her all queued up and ready to talk.
Okay.
That's awesome. And so rather than me trying to explain what she's doing, I'm going to let her do that. Sarah, you can start talking now. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any way, hi everybody, is there any way I can share my screen so I can get the PowerPoint ready. If that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, you can share your screen, Sarah.
So it says you cannot share screen while the other participant is sharing.
Oh. This is what I mean by having more young people. Come on, guys. No.
Okay, Sarah, can you hang on? We're going to move through the rest of the slides and pull you up in a minute. So go to the next.
Of course. Don't worry about it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get you in. Don't worry. Next slide, please. Okay, well, actually, we better wait for Sarah. No, Bill, can you do your part? Are you needed down there to make Sarah come on? Because this is the video contest. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, we have our contest now, and as I speak, then we're gonna page through all of the different entries for our video, newsletter, and photography contest. So you'll get to see all of the entries as we go along.
Oh,
Maybe.
no. Did Sarah get on now?
Should I share my screen?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay, it's your turn, Sarah. We pivoted back to Sarah.
Okay, we're going
Okay.
to Sarah.
So can everybody see the presentation? Maybe?
But not yet, Sarah. Hang on. We've got Aaron, our technical advisor, on it. And hang on, we're almost there. Oh.
Mhm.
Nope, that's not her screen. We have to stop share, Sarah. Now we've got it. It looks beautiful.
Okay, perfect. So then, yeah, I'll go ahead. So first, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed the symposium so far, and I'm super excited to talk about some of the research that we've been doing over the past year, looking at biodiversity and ecosystem functioning from a below ground perspective. So as we are aware, right, we are losing species globally at an unprecedented rate due to anthropogenic forces, right? And this loss is projected to only get worse in the future. So an important question to ask then is how this species loss is going to affect the remaining species, the ecosystems they used to reside in, and the global cycles that we rely on. And through decades of research, we know that as we lose biodiversity at any trophic level, we lose ecosystem functioning. And ecosystem functions are broadly the biotic and abiotic processes within an ecosystem that residents, including us, depend on, right? So this graph on the left shows the decrease in ecosystem function that we see as we lose species. And we see that this is a pretty dramatic decline. So as well established as this relationship is, we are still unsure of the mechanistic link between biodiversity and ecosystem functioning, or what we call BEF. Meaning we know this relationship exists, but we have yet to uncover the drivers of this relationship, which is essential for maintaining ecosystem functioning in the face of species loss. And so how do we address this gap? One way may be taking a trait-based approach. So rather than looking at the species level, we can quantify functional traits of each species. And functional traits often reflect the species strategies for acquiring resources and interacting with other species. So what are species doing in an ecosystem and how do they do it? And so this approach hasn't offered us the insight we'd hope to find, right? This graph shows here the number of traits included in a study, along with the percent of this BEF relationship that's been explained by those traits. And often it's less than 10%, showing us that it's not explaining a large portion of this relationship that we'd hope that it could. So what are we missing? And it's important to note here that the vast majority of functional traits measured in plant communities are strictly above ground traits. So we are failing to capture the below ground information, which is vital to understand how plants uptake their resources and compete below ground, right? So it may be time to take a new, more comprehensive approach to this trait-based method. Using Texas grasslands as a study system, Texas grasslands offer an extremely unique perspective because of the extreme and ever-changing climate that we're so aware of. And this allows us to study the effects of species loss on ecosystem function in the context of global change. So in this experiment, we used a 12 species pool of native Texas species. And in each of these plots here, we varied the number as well as which species are in each community. So we varied plot richness from 1 to 12 with the addition of a water treatment. So half of these plots were watered to replicate the anticipated precipitation change regime, anticipated change in precipitation that we expect to see, right? And so this photo shows part of our experiment. The total thing is 144 plots. And it also shows these insect nets that we have. For time, I will not go into them, but I'm happy to talk about them during questions if we have time. But to understand how below ground functional traits may inform this BEF relationship, I needed to dig up some plants. And I dug up a lot. So for each species, I collected whole root samples from the watered and ambient plots from the 1 species and 12 species plots. And for each system, they were cleaned and photographed as you see here. And then these photographs were processed into a black and white photo. And then these photos were analyzed using fancy computer software. And this quantified the below ground functional traits. So all in all, it was just over 400 individuals. It only took me 3 months to get all these digitized, so that was really fun. But these trait values were then used to calculate a metric of functional diversity, which essentially just tells us how different the plants are within each community. And our primary measure of ecosystem function in the system is productivity, which is just the dry biomass of each plot during the peak growing season. And so with that, with this massive undertaking, we found some really interesting results that we're really excited about. So first, we do see a significant increase in productivity as we increase species plot richness. So this relationship holds true in Texas ecosystems, that as we increase diversity, we increase ecosystem function. However, we see that this fails to explain a lot of this variation. So we're still not fully explaining this relationship. And so maybe this below ground functional diversity metric may offer some insight. But it doesn't. It doesn't have any correlation with productivity. And that might indicate that below ground traits are not as informative as I expected. However, if you start to look at these traits individually, we start to see some interesting trends. So this graph shows the average specific root length within each community, and specific root length, or SRL, reflects the amount of carbon invested towards below ground resource uptake and competition. And so we see that, that productivity increases the more resources are devoted to below ground. And this is a significant relationship. And so it indicates that plant communities are more productive when more resources are put towards below ground, and that this variability at the community level is really important. But what about at the individual level? One critical assumption I've made within this below ground functional diversity metric is that those values remain constant across all treatments. So I decided to test this assumption and look at these, at trait plasticity, or how these trait values change across treatments. And I found that in fact, species are incredibly plastic in their root traits. So again, using SRL as an example, we see that these individual species are changing their specific root length values across these ambient and watered plots. And this is a significant relationship. So we're seeing some dramatic responses in these plant communities as this water availability changes, right? Which makes sense. Plants need to respond to their environment. But do they respond to the differences in changes in their plant community? And yes, right, across these 1 and 12 species plots, we also see dramatic and significant changes in this specific root length as well. indicating that plants not only respond to abiotic, but biotic changes as well. And so the big takeaway from all of this is that species level values are not always indicative or reflective of every population, and we need to be able to take this into account. And so in order to effectively use this trait-based approach to understand this BEF relationship, understanding trait plasticity is key. And so by furthering this understanding, we'll first be able to achieve our primary goal of better predicting this BEF relationship using more realistic trait values that offer this mechanistic insight that we really need in terms of maintaining ecosystem function in the face of species loss. Additionally, we can understand how plants may respond to global change and how plants will be able to adapt and acclimate to these climate changes given their plasticity levels. And lastly, at a more fundamental level, we can begin to understand how these various stressors influence the plant community as a whole. And so thank you so much for listening. I want to thank my wonderful collaborators and mentors, along with the labs I'm a part of, for all of their amazing insight, and the whole slew of undergrads that we had giving up their time and effort to make this whole thing possible. I also want to acknowledge my funding sources, the wonderful Native Plant Society of Texas, as well as the Stengel Wire Endowment at the Department of Integrative Biology. And thank you again for listening.
Sarah, thank you so much. That was excellent. Good job. That's a caliber of students that we support with our grants. So yay. And now the Bill will do the contest.
Okay. We're going to set up our slide again here and go. We're going to show you all of the entries for the various contests. There's about 60 slides in this deck, so it'll take a little bit of time. Okay, and Sarah's going to go through the slides as I talk. So, for thousands of years, humans have gathered in large groups similar to this, and when they did, they usually told stories, and oftentimes around a campfire. Just go through them. Okay. Generally, they competed with one another for the best story. And today we tell stories in different ways from our ancestors did, oftentimes using technologies that didn't even exist as recently as our parents' time. So we have contests to tell the native plant story using 3 different technologies in our contest: photography, video, and electronic newsletters. So as we go through these, I hope you'll take a look at all of the entries on the screen behind me. I hope you can see them out there in Zoom land too. And then later on tonight, we will reveal the best storytelling in each of these 3 contests. So we have our photography contest is divided up into ecoregions. So we'll select the best photo in each one of the 12 ecoregions. Actually, we didn't have enough entries in some of the ecoregions to award a prize for the best. So I hope you guys will, in the future, think about entering your entries into your good photos into these contests, so we'll have more and we can maybe give an award in each one of the 12 categories. Right now, we only had entries in about half of them. And I would like to also urge you to consider entering the video contest as well. We never have really as many as the entries in the video contest as I think we should. I know you're all capable of making a video because you all have a phone right in your hand that does videos. And that's all it really takes to do it. And we also have, and besides the video contest, we also have a chapter newsletter contest. We did get a few good entries for that. And we had quite a few very well qualified contestants for that. We won't be able to show you those on the screen like we are showing these photos, but you will receive links to them and you can go back and look at them because they're all online.
So Bill, can you tell us why some of the categories didn't win, even though they had entries in them, you didn't have a winner?
Yes, some of the ecoregions did not have entries in them at all, and some of them only had one or two. We don't really award a prize unless there are at least 3 entries in the ecoregion. So I don't really have statistics on that right at hand, but we did have some that didn't have any entries at all, but others that only had like 1 or 2. And here we go with the various newsletters. There are the URLs down there at the bottom for all of them so that you can go and look at them. Over on the right-hand side is just a little bit of information. And then we have our video contest. We have several entries in that too. So, and then I want to thank our judges, Patrick Garnett, Rachel Sawinski, Michael Eason, Mike Mazzell, Robert Camper, Kay Jenkins, Paula Stone, and myself. So we'll turn it back over to Kim.
Go ahead, Sarah. This is the in memoriam, and I think we should just scroll through them. I think Renata said it so that they were timed, but if she didn't, just go ahead and scroll. There you go. Okay. All right. Thank you for watching the in memoriam. It's a sad time, but I hate to follow it talking about the 2023 symposium, but there you have it. Our 2023 symposium is okay. Let me back up. Peter Luce really wants to host this 2023 symposium, and he has been working very hard on pulling together speakers and talking, thinking about field trips, et cetera. So I'm hoping that everybody's okay with that, that we go to the Piney Woods chapter in Nacogdoches and have our wonderful symposium for 2023 in that area. And I would like to encourage you to sign up on the committee to help make this possible. It takes a lot of work to pull together, but the more committee members we have, the less work it is for each individual member, as you know. So I need your help, and hopefully you'll be able to help us with that. We haven't decided on a date yet. We keep running into the issue of conflicts and, who's doing what, when, and where, and how, but we'll let you know when it's going to be. There's a lot of discussion. A lot of people have opinions about when it should be, and now is not the time to talk about it. But if you want to let me know what your ideas are, please feel free to email me at meg.inglis@nipsot.org. And just to let you know, we're not just going to be working on 2023 now, we're starting on 2024. So we'll be thinking about that. If you have any ideas about where you might want to have 2024, that would be very handy to have. People, please email me. We had a system at one time where there was a rotation. We could go back to that. There's a sort of a lot of thought that needs to be put into this because frankly, we haven't had an in-person symposium for several years. So we're sort of getting back on our feet. So that's all I have to say about that, Sarah. I think that might be the last. Oh, don't forget that tonight we have our contest awards online starts at 7. So we're going to basically have our, I guess our banquet. 6:45. Michael's talking at 7:20. Michael Eason has a presentation at 7:20. So I think we start eating around 6:45. Don't quote me on that. Check your schedule, please. And you will have time to do your purchase, put your bid in on the silent auction. And of course, then there's that mad rush to go get the item that you bid on. And then you'll have time to go back to your hotel room and get ready. Please sign up for committees on the back wall. There's another thing. What else? Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for attending our meeting of members. We're going to go ahead right as fast as we can. As soon as we can get everything set up, we're going to have our panel.